stay lower for a while and then move up as you come out, right? So I'm gonna be like this now, and I'm gonna pull this back just like this. Now you see, I'm already starting, it looks really good already, right? Like, so, here's the thing. Now what I really wanna do is I wanna start to blend my sides in. So how I'm gonna do that is, normally when we're doing an angle wet, we comb everything from here, and we bring everything forward. When we bring it forward, it angles it, and it takes out this bulk line in here, and what happens is that's how you get the stringy parts. So let me show you how I face frame for my clients that really don't want to be heavily angled, and because they want that bulk. So this is what I do. I hold it down, and you're gonna comb down, just like this. You're gonna hold it, not taunt, just very nice and lightly. You're gonna hold it just like this. Where is this bending?
Right there.
See where it's bending, right? Okay. So it's bending right at my end, right where I started. So now watch what I do. I'm gonna come through here, and I'm gonna do this. Up with this angle, just like this.
Cool.
So that when I get down to the bottom, let's watch what happens. I'm in and I'm gonna start to get an amazing amount of movement on there, right? So now I got all of this depth inside of here, I got all of this movement going on inside of here, and it's quite magical, right? The way that happens, it's almost like now you're blow drying your client's hair, the client's in the chair, and all of a sudden, you see your faces, right? That's how the client looks. They're like, what is going on here? They're texting their friends, this guy's gotta cut your hair. It's like, look at my hair.
That's what I was thinking, I want a haircut.
Right, so that's just a little bit of the movement. Wait till you start to see when I start to blend the rest in. Here I am, I'm doing this, right? Now, I'm gonna go to this side. Now, as I go to this side, I'm gonna comb down, right? And now watch, I'm gonna come through here, there's a few little pieces of hair I'm grabbing there. Now watch, I'm gonna come through here, and I like to come through the front, right? You can come around here, you good? I'm gonna come through here like this, and I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna cut up, and I'm gonna just start to back cut. All of this, until, again, I get to the very, very bottom. Now, again, I'm gonna put, and this is what I'll do at work as well, you know, as I'm cutting hair. I'll put this down like this, and then I'll start going like this. And then I start moving it around. I start getting this and kind of maybe bringing it in. I start going like this. What's happening in here?
It's great.
Yeah, because I got all of that short hair that's gonna support the long hair, that's gonna give me all of this movement. Let's look from the side. Right? It's just beautiful, and you don't have any kind of holes or anything going on. It doesn't get to that, you know, it's not gonna get where it's like stringy. So here's the thing. I'm gonna really shock you all now. Watch this. Remember when I said your guide is always the bend? Watch. I'm gonna take a section in the middle. Now, I'm gonna go over again. I'm gonna go over that part again where I said what? We took this section from here, the high point of the head. We went from the high point of the head and we took triangular sections, and what did we do? We over-directed them to the center. And then we did our back cutting from underneath. Now, when I was doing my back cutting from underneath, I was this way, right? Now, all I'm doing to do the top is I'm switching this way. Now I'm this way cutting the hair. So now let me show you this. Wait till you see this. Now watch, I'm bending, right? This is my bend, right? See where the bend is? Let's take the high point of the head and bring this section down. Where does it go? Right, because you know why? We're cutting on the round of the head. So always take the sections when you want to do this kind of haircut, and you're going to take them individually, and then you're going to take individual parts, because here's the thing. If we came in here and precision cut this whole entire thing, are we going to get this kind of feel? No, because there is some imperfection, but in the imperfection is perfection, because it's on the person's head. Not everybody's head is the same head. It's all completely different, right? So I'm going to take this next section down just like this. I'm going to hold out. I'm going to bend. Now, as I bend, here's my bend. I'm going to come through here, and now watch. Back cut, back cut, back cut, all the way through, all the way through. If you have a client that wants even more bulk at the bottom, what would we do? Simply go from 90 here to 90 here. You're gonna get a lot more bulk, you're gonna save a lot more hair at the bottom. But let's watch this. Here I go, I'm gonna comb this out, let's watch. See what just happened there? You see that shape right there? It's just literally gonna form to the head shape just like this. I'm gonna be able to move it around and I'm getting a really light look from the whole thing. Now, remember what I said. Over here we over-directed because we wanted from shorter to longer, right? Here, I don't wanna make a line. Let's think about what I said when I think about emphasis. There's emphasis, and in emphasis, right, or when you're cutting or styling hair at any time, right, it is either you're looking at the shape, you're looking at the pattern, right? You're looking at the line. And here, I want you to see this really, really, really soft line. So if I came in here and I over-directed to the center on all these sections all the way through, I'm gonna get a line going this way. It's gonna take your eye away from the front of not what I want you to see. So I wanna make sure that I stay on base until I get to this part of the hairline. Once I'm at this part of the hairline, then I'm gonna stay behind it. That's all I'm gonna do. Just stay behind it. I'm not bringing the sides in. The sides are gonna go this way, so now this is gonna collide and give me even more fullness on the side, because I'm disconnecting the sides from the back. But you won't see the disconnection. You're only gonna see that it's just a lot more bulkier. All right, so watch. I'm gonna start my next section. I'm here, look at where I am, right? Now watch my legs when I go down. I see hairdressers do this all the time. They just stand in one spot, there's no movement, and they go to the next spot, and they're like, no movement. For me, in order for you to really see and get the vibe and everything going, for me, I use my legs a lot. So, watch, as I come down like this, I'm like really, really watching. My legs could bend, I'm in here like this, go like this. Now, as I let this down like this, I start going like this so I can start to see, oh wow, what kind of movement am I getting? Am I getting fullness inside of here? Look, watch this. Doesn't happen there, right? But let's watch. Look at the layers, right? Now watch. Hang on, you can't even see the layers. So you're not getting little steps as you move through, right? Those little steps, what do we have to do with it at the end? Extra shear, point cut, and then you know what I watch all the time? If I'm in the salon and I'm just not doing anything and I watch other hairdressers, I see them and I go, so here, they'll do an angle like this, right? Maybe they cut this, right? And then at the end of the haircut, they dry it, and then from down here, they're texture shearing. They bring it all the way up here, they texture shear. They're not even following the same line. So interior-wise, you're telling that the hair doesn't know which way to go. It's going there, it's with the elevation here, elevation there. It turns into frizzy, it turns into a mess, and then they're like, oof, I don't want layers anymore. I'm gonna grow my layers out, right? So this is a good way for not having to do that. So I'm gonna come through here like this, I'm gonna take my next section. So now my next section, look where it's landing, right here. So, when it lands there, I want us to stay right behind it. I don't want to be here, right? I'm going to get a line, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to be here, I'm going to bend. Let's see. Let me just check this out. Here's my bend. Look at where the hair is, right? This bend is lower, right? That's where I say it's magical. You're going to keep testing it all the way around and say, wow, I'm still on the round of the head. Just go for it. I do this haircut with a bob from under. You have to see the bob. It's insane. It's like a textured bob that you can do by doing just the under, then you do one over, then you do one under, then you do one over, and you're putting all of this depth inside of there. It's so super beautiful and natural. All right, I'm here like this. I'm taking my next section, and I'm gonna start to move down, all the way, until I get to the bottom. Now I'm gonna take my next section here. I'm right behind the ear. So look, you see where the comb lifts? That's the high point of my head. So I want to come through here and I bend. Look at how low the bend is, right? But let's take this piece right here and put it here. Same length. It goes right to where our guide is. So our guide is there. I'm going to come through here and now I'm going to start to cut, back cut. And by all means, I'm cutting hair. You see this hair falling, right? So I'm here, now let's watch. Here I'm here, I got all of this texture going on in here. I can move this hair, any kind of texture I want, look. I can move this around because it has all the back cutting. And now look at this. Right? We haven't cut that yet, right? So now, I'm gonna go to this side now. I'm gonna do the same thing that we did on that side, but I'm gonna do it on a faster speed. I'm gonna bring this all the way here just like this. I'm gonna bend. Here's my bend. You see how high the bend is already? I'm gonna do this, and now I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna back cut, back cut, back cut, back cut. I'm not teasing it. I'm actually going from the heel to the belly, cutting all the way in, deep, deep, deep. If I'm cutting very hair that the cuticle is very thick in diameter, like each hair is thicker in diameter, sometimes I even go even deeper into the hair so that I get that real soft kind of Victoria's Secret-ish kind of like bouncy, beautiful hair. All right, so let's take my next section right here.
Yes, I need to be a model.
I'm gonna move here. Now I'm by the hairline again. So I'm staying literally right behind the hairline. Let's look at that. See right here? I'm not gonna get any kind of from shorter to longer. That's something that I really don't want. So I'm gonna come through here, I'm gonna do this just like this. I'm gonna bend, and now watch. I'm gonna cut, 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 all the way through, all the way through, all the way through, until I get to the end. Once I get to the end, I lift up, look at the volume that I'm getting. Look at the volume that I have here. You see that? Now, hold the head, hold my comb on the top of the head. Where the comb lifts, I want to make sure that I'm right at that high point. I'm going to bring this back just like this. Hold it just right on the top. Bend. You see how low that bend is? It's right here. Same thing, right? So the reason why why do you think I keep repeating this whole thing with the bend? Because sometimes people don't even understand. They're like, I'm not going to cut hair with a bend. Right, so I keep showing you that the bend is easy to be a guide on the bend. It's super, super easy. Right, so now, watch as I move now to the front. Here I am, I'm creating all of this volume. I have this really cool fringe going on in the front. It's super 70s kind of feeling, right? Like it's like really cool that way. And this is somebody that wants a curtain fringe, but doesn't really want to commit so much to a fringe, right? She may want to commit to doing this fringe like this, right? And then maybe one day, just kind of blending it into where she has it, and it almost looks, if she curled it, it could almost look like it's still one length.
What if there's a side part, like they wear it on the side?
If they wore it on the side, well, I'll show you. Let's finish the sides, and then I'll show you that it could be worn to either side. They can wear it in the middle. They can wear it anywhere. And you want to know why? Because I'm cutting right on the head shape.
Okay.
That's why. You can't lose. So, next I'm going to take my next section and here, I'm going to bend and I'm going to cut from up here. So I'm not removing any bulk from the angle. And now you're going to start to see, look at the sides coming in. Now, I'm going to connect again. I'm going to come through here. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to bring this to a square. Picture a square here. Picture if you had two combs here and you could only work in between these two combs. That's where I want it. I don't want it all the way here, right? I want it like right there where it's square. You come through just like this. And what made me think square? Look at that photo. It's very square, right? If you look at that picture, it's square. So that's kind of like what I wanted, but I wanted to like kind of round it out. A rounded square to make it a little bit softer for the client. Now I'm going to take my next section up. I'm going to bring it this way. I'm going to bend and I'm going to blend. All the way, 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 all the way. So I get to there. And now let's start to move this. Let's start to get some texture moving on in here. Just like that.
So if you had a customer coming in getting this haircut, how are you going to prep them before you cut their hair?
So before I prep them, how I'm going to prep them? Dark oil shampoo, dark oil conditioner. I'm going to, I'll use my method, like the 90-second mist, the ultimate mist. I would put that on for the 90-second, and then I would use some oil, prep it out, blow dry really, really good, 365 degree, and then go from there. I'm going to start on this side here.
Can you cut this more dry?
Always.
Yeah.
So I will always cut dry. If someone has straight hair and always wears it straight, I'm cutting it where it's always gonna live, right? On the straight. So if somebody had wavy hair, I would take them in, let them wash their hair, I would sit them under lights, and see where the wave was living. And then just go right into it like that and then fix it after I was done. I'm gonna take my next section here, just like this, and I'm gonna bring it here. I'm gonna do this again, I'm gonna bend and come in just like this. There is a PlayStation when we're done in that back. If you have time, grab a little drop of dark oil and blend it into your hand. And you let me know what you think when it disappears right into your hands. So here I am, I'm here now. Now I'm done with the haircut, right? So let's talk a little bit about if I wanted to wear it to the side. Let's talk about is the head shape. Why do we think that the head shape is everything for me? Let me tell you. I look for the high point of the head. When I look for the high point of the head, everything from this high point of the head that goes through, that gravity takes down, is where it's gonna wanna live. I wanna cut around where it wants to live. Have you ever cut someone's hair and then all of a sudden you see them like in the supermarket and you're like, what does she do to her hair? Right? And then like you're practically running away from them, right? Because it's like, well, this is gonna actually give you an amazing support to cut and show them how to do it just with their hands. They're just gonna be able to work their hands. And you're gonna see that this hair is going to behave exactly how I want it to behave, right on the mark. And let me explain another thing. The haircut that you're gonna see right now is a 3-step, right? So it's 3 steps to get this fringe. You would have to, if you were cutting it traditionally, you'd have to first put your fringe in. Then after you put your fringe in, you'd have to pick it up and maybe do some point cutting to it. Then after you've done with your point cutting, you were gonna blow dry and then maybe take a texture shear and go like this to make it light. This I'm doing all in once. So it's 3 steps in one. So you're gonna notice that I don't have all clips in this hair right now. I don't have like, I'm not rolling it up and putting it on the side and putting it this way. No, I wanna see where this hair is living, where it's comfortable living, and I'm gonna start with the fringe. When I start with my fringe, I call the fringe for me, or any part of where I want you to look first, is where I want you to see. What do I want you to see? It's the emphasis of the haircut. I want you to see is all in the front. If I start creating all kind of texture up here, and then you're not gonna look at the fringe, it's gonna take you to the silhouette more of the hair rather than the line that I'm looking for, right? So, how I do it is, I look at the head, I see the head, you'll see me always going like this and shaking it out, just like this, so I can see actually where it wants to live. And then I'm gonna put my comb on the top. Where the comb starts to lift from the front, that's the high point of my head. So once I go to that high point, if I'm doing a fringe or an angle, I'm gonna come through just like this. I'm gonna hold it back just like this. Then I'm gonna hold it like this, and I'm gonna go like this and let it fall to see where it's gonna fall after I'm done cutting it. I'm gonna look here to see how much is falling onto the recession area, because I really wanna keep it in. And what I don't want, so did you ever get clients that come in, they have the 1-length hair, you think that they need layers, but they're never getting layers or an angle, because why? They don't want those stringy little pieces in the front. This is going to be a fully layered haircut that when I brush down, it could look actually 1 length, or if I mess around with it, it could look like it's totally layered. So that's how I got those clients to do that. So, I forgot to get my clip, hold on. Oh, here they are. So as you see, I'm gonna just come in here, I broke this up, and I'm gonna just move this away, very gently. Take each side, move it away. Now, I'm gonna start in the front center, and I'm gonna start with my first piece in the center. Now, this is called back cutting. Keep this in mind, really, really, really strong in your mind. Always remember, if you're under back cutting, which means that you're under your section, your hands are palm to palm, and the shear is not this way, because we're used to doing this from slide cutting and stuff like that. We're used to bringing the shear this way. It's pointed to the head, right? So when I come in, I'm gonna bend. What do you think that bend is right there? That's showing me the head shape right there. And you're gonna notice as I start taking bend shapes all the way around, the bend is gonna change, but the bend is going to actually be my guide through the whole entire haircut. So, and what that means is I'm cutting a custom-made haircut for her. Just like if you look at a designer, right? Or if you go buy a dress off the rack, right? And then you go and bring it to the seamstress and she starts pulling it in and put it into your body, it's another whole ballgame, right? It's the same thing with this. So here I am, I'm gonna be here, there's the bend, so I come up, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to back cut. And as I start to back cut, from that 45 degrees, I'm gonna come all the way up, all the way to a 45 up here, and then I'm gonna stay and allow very, very gently for me to keep doing what I'm doing. So now let me show you what happens when I do that. See? It's super light. So a razor would be hard to do it that way because you would have to go to you, not if you went this way, you'd be like scraping the cuticle, right? So I'm gonna come through here and I'm gonna take my next section and I'm going to over direct this section right here. I'm gonna over direct this section right to the middle. So one little piece doesn't want to come to me. And I'm going to bend. You notice that the bend over here was over here, now it's getting a little lower as you move it up. So I'm gonna come through here naturally. When I go like this, the bend is already starting to move because the head shape is starting to change. And that's the important part of it, always remembering that the head shape is going to change and you have to respect that. So as I'm going to the middle, I'm doing this again, and I'm back cutting right up to the 45. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna hold this, and then I'm gonna over direct this to the side. Now let's watch when I do that. You see how the bend is going right here? Now watch, as I start to come up, here's my bend, I'm gonna come through here, and I'm going to over direct it all the way, and then I'm gonna come right up here until I hit that 45 again. Now, watch when I do this. You see? Right? So you have this really good graduation inside there. You have all of, so here when I'm doing this, now your client, when she does this, she's gonna go, she's watching on TikTok, those girls. And then she's watching them do this, like this. She's gonna be able to get all of that. She's gonna get all that movement that you want from that. So when I get to this side, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna be taking that. So let's think about this for a moment. I started here, then I took a section from here and over-directed, section from here, over-directed, section from here, over-directed to the center. I'm gonna do the same thing on that side.
Can we take the time off of the shift?
Yeah.
Somebody else can stand.
Take my sections. I'm gonna hold it out just like this. I'm gonna almost use it's gonna heat up a second, wait. There it goes. So I'm gonna come in through here and I'm gonna do this. Right, I'm gonna take that and do this. And I'm gonna take another section in here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my iron, I'm gonna put it into here, I'm gonna go way down to where this is, where my fringe is, right? So I'm not disturbing the line of what I want you to see, that I keep up with the emphasis. And I'm gonna do this just like this. And I'm gonna just kind of let be for a moment. I'm gonna take my next section here, and I'm gonna take this, and bring it down, bring it around, and do that. I'm gonna just take one more section just here, and then I'm gonna brush this out. And then I'm gonna, as I'm brushing out, I'm gonna have Jay talk a little bit about what we're doing next and what you have to do so we have the moment. But watch this. I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put a little bit of dark oil, kind of spray on it, just like this. And then for me, it's all about brushing. Now, watch when I brush. Watch how much volume I'm gonna get just from me brushing. But look at where it's staying. See that volume right there? You see where it's staying? This is not any, I didn't put any hairspray on this. I didn't put any product other than dark oil in this. I would have used a mousse for this. I would have used, I would have been doing hairspray to get it to go. I didn't have to because, look, I got all of this texture inside of there.